Peace. This is your brother Kepra hollering at you again. Today I'm going to talk about the 6th Odu called Owonrin Meji. Owonrin Meji is the 6 out of 16 patterns. This is your main patterns in Ifa, right? Then they break down to 256 other Odu. Now, the sacred scriptures are called Ifa, right? It translates to mean scratched or to scratch. It's also the wisdom of nature. And that's what we're talking about. How do you get more in touch with nature? And it's about aligning yourself with your destiny and who you are as opposed to who you're not. You see what I mean? Because one of the reasons why people fail in life is because we act other than ourselves. And we agree with other people's perception of us, which may or may not be true. So the thing about it is, if someone else has a perception of you, somebody tells you that, okay, this worked for them, it does not necessarily mean it's going to work for you. They may be projecting upon you what they may consider to be success or what they may consider to be unsuccessful, but that's their destiny. That's not necessarily your destiny, okay? So Ifa is the teachings of Orunmila. Orunmila is the Orisha of divination, and all oracles are under Orunmila. Orunmila is second only to Olodumare. We say Ebikeji Olodumare, because that is the messenger of Olodumare, Orunmila. All right? Orunmila and Eshu, they have a good relationship where they hang out with each other. We'll talk about that some other time. But in this particular Odu, it's Owonrin Meji. In this Odu, it talks about appeasing the ancestors. Eshu and Shango speak loudly in this particular Odu. Eshu often opens up the way for communication. Shango, he brings the justice to the world. You see what I mean? They say Shango doesn't like liars and everything else because Shango will put that fire on that ass. But anyway, I digress. Here, you can have wealth. You can become famous in this particular Odu. The thing about it, you got to be careful that you do not lose it just as fast as you've gained it. You see? Or should I say, lose it faster than the time it took for you to gain where you're at or where you're becoming. You see? So fame is a beautiful thing, but you also have people who may not be very impressed about your fame. They actually may be hating on you and so forth. So it's good for you to also be mindful of the fact that you can have people that will try to drag you down. And it's also important for you to remember those who helped you come up. Okay? Because in this Odu, unfortunately, a lot of times people who are successful have a tendency to forget about all the people that helped them make it. Okay, so it also warns us to stay away from people with bad character. People that hang out in the street and everything else. The streets belong to Eshu. Now, I'm not judging nobody. Ifa teaches us not to judge, but you got to be mindful of consequences for your actions. And if you come with this energy, then you have to be careful of hanging out with people who are in the street because they can either drag you down or get you caught up. And you don't want any of that. Another thing is that not too long ago, there was a study done on success. And basically, what it is that you're as successful as the 5 people that you hang out with. Okay, so people are energetically influencing us. They're influencing us on a subconscious level and the levels that we may not be consciously aware of. This is why it's good for you to be mindful of the people around you and be mindful of your environment. So this tells you, do not hang on street corners in this particular Odu. Another thing too is this is where you have an annual celebration for your ancestors. Now it's important that we remember the ancestors because when your connection with the ancestors is good, then you're going to find that you have the flow in life that helps you to reach abundance. Otherwise, the ancestral energy, if it's not appeased, then you will run across all kind of blockages. Every time you seem like you're about to be successful, you're about to make a move, something comes out of the woodwork and thwarts your progress. Don't waste time arguing with people who don't support you. A lot of times, there are people out there, like I said, that are haters. Why waste time with them, though? They don't owe you any good. They don't mean you any good, I meant to say. So why hang around people who all they want to do is argue with you and challenge you because they're not trying to help you get better. They're trying to drag you down so that they can feel good about themselves. And subconsciously, this is messing with you. and you're making agreements and nodding your head to people that tell you that they suspect people who are making money and people that are coming up, they suspect that everybody's an agent and sold out. Man, you don't need all that crap in your life. Bypass all that stuff and be the best that you can be, because you made a pact with Olodumare before you even came into this realm. You made a pact in Orun before you came to Aye. They say Ekoli Orun, Ekoli Aye. So right now, you're in Ekoli Aye, you're in the marketplace, you're learning about how things go, how things flow, right? Everything that you give, there's also something that you must receive, or vice versa, and give yourself permission to receive. When you're dealing with love, right, that's when you give and you don't expect anything in return. However, this is also a reflection on your character and who you are, right? A lot of times we do things because we want to get into a flow. Owonrin Meji is about that flow, but also what else could be stopping you from moving forward? What else could be stopping you from having that flow? Owonrin Meji challenges us to examine our core beliefs. Now, if you're familiar with the works of Dr. Owonrin Meji, he talks about in the Sebek faculty and everything else, a lot of times Sebek comes in with beliefs that may seem to be cool, but they're erroneous. And because you have these erroneous beliefs, they could be blocking you. And it could be something all the way down in your psyche, in your subconscious, that could be blocking you because of this belief that you have, and you're not even consciously aware of it. But it's a story that's playing out in the back of your head constantly, showing you failing, suggesting that you're going to fail. So when you tell yourself that you want to succeed in one area, in the back of your mind, it's telling you that you can't do it. And it could be from your parents or some other authority figure that told you about what success is supposed to look like when you were young. And it may be successful to them, but it may not necessarily be successful to you. So you also want to make sure that you have a good relationship with Eshu. Eshu is the deity of communication, the divine messenger, and everything else. He opens and closes the way. So if Eshu energy is not appeased, what'll happen is that you'll find yourself running across all kinds of blockages. So communication is important, making sure that Eshu is appeased. One of the ways, if you're dealing with Eshu, is to give Eshu some honey. Remember, whenever you're going to give an Orisha some honey, you always got to taste the honey first, because of what took place with the poisoning of Oshun, or the attempt to poison her, however the story goes. Make sure that you're always appeasing and working with the spirit of communication, Eshu. And it doesn't necessarily just mean doing rituals to Eshu. Another way of respecting communication is communicating with people when it's time. If you can't show up for work on time, then you need to call in and be like, hey man, I'm going to be a little late. If you told somebody that you're going to do something, you won't be able to do it, then tell them, hey man, I'm sorry, something came up and I won't be able to do it for now. Can we reschedule? You see, communication is very important. So don't think for a minute that we can live and go to this life in this world that's dominated by Eshu and think that we're not going to have to deal with communication or deal with the spirit of the opener and closer of the way, because that is what's taking place in this world. Eshu is just about over everything that's going on out here in these streets. So, my sisters and brothers, I'm not going to keep you too much longer. I just wanted to say peace and send a quick shout out to all the sisters and brothers who are trying to or striving to make it in life. You know, right now in these troubled times, it's good for you to work with your Ori, to work with your ancestors, and to do a lot of introspection, okay? Because what we're hearing about every time you turn on the TV or social media is war in the Ukraine versus Russia, or Palestine versus Israel, and so forth. Right now, what you want to do is you want to calm down a storm that's going on within yourself so that it doesn't manifest in your outer realm. You see what I mean? So that's why it's good for you to connect with your ancestors and make sure that your Ori is clean. It may be good for you to take a bath, tear up some spinach leaves and get in some cool water and just pour it on your head and clean yourself off. You see what I mean? You know, keep your head cool and stay balanced. Anyway, my sisters and brothers, it's always great talking to you. May you continue to have a terrific journey and a positive day. Peace and blessings.